Hey, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Empowerment Through Encouragement. And today we are going to be talking about the multiplicity of the various types of ADD and how one size does not fit all. And while I'm waiting for my co-host to join me, what I want to share is that if we treat anything the same way for everyone and we don't get results, good results, there's a reason why. And it's because everybody's different. We all have a fingerprint. We're all different in multiple ways. So why would we think that one remedy or one application would work for everyone? It doesn't happen that way. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, debunking that. And one of the experiences that I've had in my own life is that as I myself have experienced, and I still experience ADD. It's not something that goes away. It doesn't come on Mondays and leave on Tuesday and come maybe show up on Thursday or Friday. It's with me all the time. And as I understand that I have choices that I can make that empowers me, understanding that I'm a unique individual, just as you are a unique individual, it gives us the power to have an encouragement and also know that, hey, we're unique and we have a designed path that we can take. So as we get there, one of the things that I want to talk about today is that there are multiple symbols or signs that ADD is part of what's going on in our world. And I'm going to, in the middle of this, I'm going to send, don't you love it when life comes together and things just kind of are a challenge? I'm going to send my co-host another invitation so that she can join. So just bear with me here just for a moment. And let me do this. And this is part of when life throws you a curveball, that you have an opportunity to even just get up to the bat and swing. And that's what I'm encouraging you all to do, is to get up to the bat and just swing and know that that the elements that take place, dysfunctions, distractions, all of these things are part of what goes on with a person with ADD or ADHD. So understanding that if we chase symptoms, if we just check boxes, then we can actually miss our unique design. And that's when we get in trouble. That's when we start to feel like we're defective, like the things that we're applying to our life are not getting the same results that, let's say, participant A or participant B, Joe or Sally or Johnny, they're getting different results, but we're not. And a lot of times we can feel like we're so unique, and maybe even sometimes we feel like we're defective because it's not working, but it's specific. So there are 5 long-standing symptoms of ADD. One of them, and I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to put it across the ticker, and I'm going to explain this short attention span. This involves regular, routine, everyday tasks. Their boring tasks are usually not enjoyed. Listen, I didn't like the minutia of the boring things. If it wasn't exciting, I wasn't into it. It was the thrill seeking. And my son has ADD, and he's a thrill seeker. He tells me all the time that he's surfing with sharks, and he's telling me occasionally about him smacking the tail of a shark that is right alongside of him. And here again, for some crazy reason, it's not letting my guest in. I'm not sure why. Let me try something else here. See, this is part of that reaching out and finding different things. So this is This is my world. I love it. So let me do this. Bear with me just one moment. I'm going to send this in an email. And multitasking. They say it's not efficient, but sometimes if it works, we got to do what we got to do, right? So thank you. Okay, let's try this. Don't you love it when a plan comes together, especially when you're live? Okay, so this is what is getting out of the comfort zone is all about. And this is what ADD people do. They get out of their comfort zone and they do things that they don't always think about. Pre-plan. It's kind of like ready, fire, aim. So let me get back to the short attention span. Maybe you've picked up on that already. Boring tasks are not enjoyed, and the need for stimulation or excitement is what draws the attention of someone with ADD. New and interesting stimuli, even thrill-seeking attractions are what draw our attention. So I'll share a short story, a quick story. My son was longboarding, and they got together and they decided to see how fast they could go by longboarding. And he was holding onto a vehicle edge and says, "I can't pair when live." Okay, I'm not sure why that happened. Well, let's go on. So he gets on his longboard and they start trucking down the road, and he's holding on to a truck, and all of a sudden the board starts to chatter, and they wanted to see how fast he could get up to what. And I think they were doing about 25 miles an hour, and the board started to chatter. Now, I won't tell you the rest of the story. He did not get a concussion, but he did get some scrapes on the backside of his back, and it wasn't really pretty. But this is what thrill seekers do. This is what people with ADD do. They push the limit and they think about things after the event. And, it's kind of like one of those things that you go, did I really say that? Or we think about it afterwards and go, maybe that didn't come out the right way. I should have thought that through just a little bit different. That is the short attention span. Okay. So distractibility. Okay. Maybe we've already explained and already displayed this. Distractibility. This is the easily distracted by the environment around them, more so than other environments. They have a keen sensitivity to sounds, smells, taste, or even the clothes that we wear, which makes attending to those tasks even more of a challenge. Now, there'll be times when I'm sitting here and there's a light that goes by. I see a reflection, and I'll look over because I'm thinking somebody's coming in, but it's actually just the vehicles going by. So it's attention span. That's one of the other distractions, is one of the other symptoms of ADD. Disorganization. Here's another one. Okay. So disorganization. Most people, let me get there. Most people with ADD struggle with organization of time and space. We think we can get done more in an hour, and it actually it takes a couple hours. Or we take on too much. Our desk may have a few extra books opened up because we're constantly working out of one or more. And we have 50 tabs opened up in the internet bar up above. We have tabs that are open constantly. And this is something that once I became aware that I was having that practice, my intention, I became aware of what I was doing. I changed it. And I was somewhat afraid that I was going to forget which tab I had viewed something that I really wanted to view again. So I just kept the tab open. And one of the things that I want to say about ADD is that it's not so much attention deficit. It's just we've got too many things grabbing our attention. And so we've got multiple tabs. We've got 50 tabs open. Now, imagine if I've got 50 tabs open in my mind, it's constantly bouncing back and forth and getting kind of like I don't want to miss out on that, but I don't want to close it. And I may need to jump back to it. And so now my attention is going multiple different directions. Procrastination is another hallmark symptom. It's putting things off until the last minute, working at the deadline, working under pressure. When people say, I work better under pressure. And then sometimes they upset people because they haven't got the project done as quick as they were intending to. We talked a little bit about this poor internal supervision. That is that ready, fire, aim, acting on impulse rather than some balanced judgment, doing or saying things that without thinking it through, learning from mistakes. It is also an extended process. And what I mean by that is that we're thinking maybe 5 steps ahead and we haven't taken step 1 and we're completing step 3 and we're acting on impulse. We're offering ourselves up a little bit quicker than maybe we should. These are not defects. These are superpowers. And when we learn to harness it, when we learn to understand what it is that we're doing, now we can have a better capacity to accomplish even more. And it's becoming aware that you're aware of what you're doing. So there are 7 different types of ADD. And having multiple experiences of ADD present at the same time, this is why we say that there is not one remedy that works for all. You need an entirely different protocol. Now, this is not to wig anyone out. This is not to put any fear in you. This is just to bring an awareness. When you know something, once you learn something, you can't unknow it. And it kind of demystifies whatever's going on in your world. When we go to the doctor, let's say we go to the doctor and they say, I can't find anything. Your numbers look okay. And you know that there's something going on in your body. You know that something's going on in your mind. And you want to be able to at least understand or pinpoint something, to have a reason why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. Understanding that there's 7 different types of ADD, that different parts of the brain are being activated and that it affects different parts of the brain. And if you're overstimulated and they give you a stimulant, now it just makes you even more wired. And you're going, wait, I went to the doctor. I checked the boxes. They took a survey. I fit this protocol, this symbol or this stereotype. Now what do I do? This medicine is not working. I'm defective, or my kid can't be helped. And they're tried everything and it's not working. So what happens? Well, understand that there's multiple different types of ADD, and you can have a combination of all of them. And that, when we understand that, now it kind of demystifies, and maybe you can take a deep breath that, hey, I might have multiple superpowers. And I say that in this respect, is that You were created perfectly. If you have ADD, you were created perfectly. And if you have a child with ADD, they were created perfectly. And you're going, you don't know the headache that they've given me and the stress and the misunderstandings that happen. Well, it's when we understand that there's multiple things going on in that mind, then it kind of gives us the ability to go, okay, now I can breathe. Now I can slow down. So what are some of these? And I'm going to just run through these fairly quick. There's classic ADD. Now, classic ADD, this is inattentive, okay? They're distractible, they're disorganized, they're hyperactive, they're restless and impulsive. That's classic ADD, okay? Then there is inattentive ADD. And inattentive ADD is they're inattentive, kind of fits the title, easily distracted. They are disorganized. They are often described as space cadets. Okay. So when they're running all over the place and you just can't get their organization, they're in their mind, you're just going, what a space cadet. They're just everywhere. They're daydreamers. They're couch potatoes, and they are not hyperactive. Okay. Then there's the overfocused. The overfocused are inattentive. They have trouble shifting attention frequently, and they get stuck in loops. If your child just gets stuck on a problem and they can't move on because they don't understand it, and you say, well, just skip that one and go to the next one. This type of overfocused ADD cannot do that. And I have this. I get stuck on a problem, and I get stuck in this loop, or an athlete makes a mistake in an event, and they constantly are rehearsing that, and you're constantly yelling from the sidelines, get in the game, get in the game. Forget about that last play, get in the game. That's trouble for an overfocused symptom of ADD, a type of ADD, is because we get stuck in that loop and we're trying to process while the world is going on. And when you get stuck in that loop and you can't go to the next problem, you're on a test and you're on a time test and you can't come up with the answer. Skipping that is not that easy because our mind wants to go back and complete that. Behavioral, obsessive behaviors, constantly doing the same thing, is picking things up, being over emphasizing on how things should go. Excessive worrying, inflexible, like they gotta have things their way. They name streets after people with this ADD. It's called one way. Okay. Frequent oppositional and argumentative behavior. And they may or may not be hyperactive. Now, oppositional and argumentative behavior, when they argue just for the sake of arguing. It doesn't even matter if they're right or wrong. They just want to argue. This is that overfocused ADD. Then there's temporal lobe. And temporal lobe ADD. This is inattentive, easily distracted, disorganized, the chronic low-grade sadness or negativity. The glass is half empty kind of syndrome, low energy. They tend to be more isolated socially, and frequent feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness. they may or may not be hyperactive. Now, maybe you're listening to this and you're going, man, my kid has parts of this, parts of that, or my husband has the parts of that, or I have parts of this, parts of that. What do I do? Well, there's hope. Don't stop on me now. Let me go to the next type. There's limbic ADD. Limbic ADD is inattentive, easily distracted, disorganized. Oh, that was limbic. See, there's my ADD kind of getting out of order there. They tend to be more isolated and socially. There's the ring of fire. The ring of fire is inattentive, easily distracted, irritable, overly sensitive, cyclic in moodiness, and oppositional. They may or may not be hyperactive as well. And then there's the anxious ADD. An anxious ADD is easily distracted. They're disorganized. They're anxious, kind of goes with the name. They're tense. They're nervous. They predict the worst. They get anxious with time test. They have social anxiety, often have physical stress symptoms, such as headaches and gastrointestinal symptoms. They may or may not be hyperactive as well. Now, I'm sharing this information with you because what it does, it allows you to have this information as a starting block. We can't change what we don't measure. We can't take the precautions or take the necessary steps if we don't have some kind of an understanding. And I know I've rifled this off. That's my ADD kind of kicking in and wanting to make sure that everything is working. But pause, take a breath, and just evaluate this. And now you have a little bit of an understanding or a little bit of a sight of what is going on. And your child is not defective. They're unique. They're special. So we can't change what's not measured. The dilemma comes when medication is given to an organ that is never looked at. Now, I love what Dr. Amen says. He says, psychology is the only medical practice that treats an organ that it doesn't look at. And there are still many well-intended medical professions that subscribe or prescribe medication to a symptom, and it's a guesswork. It's practicing. It's throwing a dart and hoping that it's going to hit. And I had this with my own family, in my own world, is that we would go from one medication to another. And then if that didn't work, we'd up the dosage, and we'd up the dosage. And then we try something else, and we try something else. And it was a guesswork, and it was a very expensive guesswork. And you begin to feel like there's something wrong. There's something defective. It doesn't make sense. But now as the advocate, now you have a better way to go, okay, what type of ADD might my child have? And as you begin to understand that, now you take the power back. There's a quiz, and you can do that through Dr. Amen's site. And if you want, you can reach out to me. I can't put links on this platform, but you can reach out to me and I can get you the way to do that. Now, allow this information to be the starting block. That's my high recommendation to you. The best way that we can predict the future is to create it. If you want, you can book a virtual call with me. It's a complimentary video call, and you can do that at www.360 Life Without Limits. And you can just, like I said, book the virtual call, and we can talk about some different options that you can make, different options that you can do. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm not a physician. I can't give you medical advice. But what I can tell you is that before we focus on the medicine, let's focus on understanding what our experience is. And as we do that, then you're better equipped to make wiser choices, informed choices for your family, for yourself even. And how you can do that is just process. Take each of these steps, take each of these elements that go along with, excuse me, the symptoms of ADD, and now you become empowered. So my encouragement for you today, moms with students with ADD, I'm not gonna tell you to celebrate it, but hopefully this gives you a little bit of a way to just breathe, process, and think and realize that there is something else that can be done, that we can demystify this mystical experience and how you can become empowered. Now, I wish I had my co-host on, because she would have several questions for me. And I know that this is just part of technology. So thank you for bearing with us. And I look forward to meeting with you again. And I'm going to check the chat. I don't have anything in the chat. So until we meet next Thursday, same time, same channel. If you want to know more, if you would like to have a conversation, here again, just book a virtual coffee. I'm not selling you anything. Book a virtual coffee. It's a complimentary video call. And let's demystify some of the mystical. Until then, have a fantastic week and be well and stay encouraged. All right.